I want to start today by saying I voted, and I have my voting certificate in the car, this little clip-on. So if you haven't, I would say this to everybody in this room and everybody outside this room: get out and vote, especially today. Get out and vote. We are very excited about what's going on at San Diego State in all sports, not just football and basketball, but all sports. And proud of the accomplishments that everyone involved has been able to achieve, and hopefully there'll be a lot more before the fall season ends, and they all blend together now. As one ends, another is starting, and we are obviously one of those just preparing to start. Our first exhibition game will be against Point Loma on Monday the 8th. Our players are anxious to play someone other than themselves, and we are optimistic like everybody. We've got a good team. How good will remain to be seen, but we embrace the fact that others think that we're good. It's an honor that we were rated. You know, a lot was made of the fact that we first time ever got a rating in the AP poll. And I passed it out yesterday and said, keep it in your locker. We'll look at it again down the road and see where we were on October 28th and where we will be on the next time we take a look at it. We all want it at the end of the season, but we know we've got a good team. Others know. We know that there are lots of good teams out there, many of whom our fans are not quite appreciating as much as they should, starting with our regular opener against Long Beach a week from Saturday. So we're excited. We hope that we can get the kind of crowds that allowed us to be 15-1 a year ago at home. And our goals are like everybody. We want to win the league. We want to win the conference tournament. And to do that, you gotta prepare well and practice in October like you expect to play. So I rambled a lot. I'll entertain any questions that you might have.
Coach, you've had the internal expectations before. Now that you have these external expectations via the polls and what national publications are saying, how do you manage those with your team?
I think we've had external expectations also. We've been picked to finish first in the league before. One time I believe we did. Another time we didn't. So what you have to do is not allow it to cause you to believe you're better than you are, not allow it to put stress on you to do more than you should have to do. I think our world and no matter whether it's me sitting here, one of our players, or you, stress. There's daily stress. Unemployment's 10%. We all want a job. So you put stress on yourself every day, but if you manage it the right way, it's good, healthy stress. If not, it takes you to the cardiac unit. So hopefully we'll be able to manage it. Players, coaches, and fans, and writers.
Coach, do you have your starting five figured out for next Monday night? Will it be the same as last week?
We've got 9 guys, and I probably maybe undersell a little bit, all think they're good enough to start. We have 5 guys that started the bulk of last season returning. What we hope we'll have will be daily competition to get everybody better. And there's not an entitlement program for any of us. Obviously, you have a resume that you build, and one bad day won't throw you to the bottom of the rung. But if you don't perform, then somebody's there to take your spot, and that's, again, that's competition. That's, I think, healthy competition. So our players know that. I'm not positive who will start on Monday, the 8th, but you'll see probably 9, 10 guys play, and probably play quite a bit.
Going off of that, who has been the most, not necessarily exciting, but most surprising for you in this offseason? Who stood out?
I don't know that I would say anybody has been surprising. I do believe that DJ Gay embraced his role as captain, encouraged, demanded that others do stuff when coaches couldn't be there watching. We're stronger. Some of it will show by how you see them physically, the look. The right guys, several have lost weight. The right guys, several have put on weight. We're in better condition. So all of those things will excite all of us. But I expected that to happen. So I don't know that we've got any major surprises. I've seen things that I expected to have happen.
Coach, it sounds like physically the team is there, 9 guys that could be starters, a ranking. What's the mental makeup of this team or the personality of this team going to be?
We expect to win. Our players expect to win. They're no different than players anywhere. Some talk about it, some don't. We choose not to talk about it a lot. I probably do too much talking. But we like the fact that others think that we're good. But that we also talk about means nothing. You have to go out and perform to maintain what you've got. What we still don't have enough of is leadership from within the squad on practice days. When it's always the coach having to bark out stuff, that's not always what you want. It's not what you want. So we're working on that. DJ is a quiet leader. He leads by example. But when he speaks, it carries a lot of weight. But we need more of that from within. We need guys to, when practice gets a little bit stale, as it does right now, we're going to have our 17th practice today. Somebody has to energize it with a little extra burst of something, and it can't always be one of the coaches is doing that. And we're not as good as we should be on that front.
Coach, last year in October, you guys were a little banged up, sick. I think you said you didn't know exactly what you had going in. How are you guys going in right now?
We are probably healthier than most teams. Our major concern, and it will be that all season long, I do this with my players. Who knows what I'm going to say? Who's the major concern that I have on our team now, 1 through 13?
DJ?
Come on. I know you know. John. Who's the one guy that I say I'm concerned only of making sure his health is okay?
Oh,
I know somebody other than Ziegler knows.
Kawhi Leonard.
Tim Shelton.
Tim Shelton. Tim Shelton. Tim Shelton. Tim Shelton. Tim's had 3 major knee operations and a 4th knee operation. 2 ACLs and a microfracture surgery. He's got old man knees. So we're trying to manage what he does in practice. He's a lot better than he was a year ago at this time. But last season, we wound up having to put him in dry dock shortly after the conference season started, and we don't want to do that this year. So he's the number 1 guy right now that I'm concerned about. You're going to have nicks. Hopefully you don't have major stuff. But our sport, like any, things happen, and sometimes you can prevent some things from happening, but you can't prevent. You got to go out and compete, and when you run and jump and bodies hit, you're going to have some things. And right now we're in pretty good shape physically, including Tim.
Coach, you mentioned some of the success that the sports have been having here at San Diego State. You haven't been able to feel that momentum carry over from the football team in quite some time. What's it like on campus? Can you kind of feel that energy kind of moving from football into basketball season?
It's great for everybody, starting with in this building with the coaches, or maybe starting with the athletes. The athletes and the coaches and everybody that's affiliated, from Jim Sturk, the athletic director, to to the coaches, to the trainers, to everybody involved. And I've seen it, and you understand, if you've been an athlete, you understand, you can see a walk from our football team that's different than it was in years past. It's a feeling that they expect to be successful. And I've watched them after the tough loss of Missouri, and you could see a resolve that they had when they were walking out of that weight room. And I do think it feeds off one another. I think you watch one another, and you cheer for one another, and it's great to see. I go to every home football game, and this is no disrespect to football, but in some years they said, "Boy, we can't wait for basketball." Now they're saying, "Hey, you think you can miss practice to go to a bowl game?" And I like that. I like that talk.